So one of the questions we probably get most often is what manufacturer should you be using? Should you go with Pakistan or should you go with China? So it's your boy the real Tez. I got my guy,
LST Court.
and today we're gonna be using two boxes of cereal as expressions and as examples on why you should go with one over the other and our personal experiences. This whole entire video is really just to educate y'all. It's not a bias type of thing. We've both used both manufacturers from both countries, and you know there's good ones and bad ones from both countries, but it's extremely important for y'all to understand why you should go with one over the other. So let's just jump straight into it. So we got two boxes of cereal here. Court, what box you got?
I got the Golden Grams, man.
So he got the off-brand Golden Grams. Your boy got the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So you can obviously see that this is the real actual brand, and you know this is a off-brand of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. But we're gonna basically using these examples, and let's just chop it up. So you're Pakistan, I'm China. Talk a little bit about Pakistan, and then we'll come together after you talk about Pakistan and I'll talk about China.
Yeah, so I think the biggest comparison, right, like with the whole box of cereal situation in Pakistan, this box of cereal is going to be a little bit cheaper than that one.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I think that's one of the biggest things with Pakistan. A lot of brand owners were starting out, we might not have as much funding to go and afford China. Mm-hmm. And so it might be more realistic for us to start out with, with Pakistan, right? Because it's going to be a little bit more affordable. And so I think that's one of the biggest points, right? It's going to be a lot more affordable for clothing brand owners. The MOQs are also going to be a lot lower as well. And so I think those are two things that I would touch on.
Smooth. So like you said, the pricing is going to be a lot less. So that's one of the things with China, right? Now, this box of cereal was a lot more than that box of cereal, right? And the reason being is because of what you're getting, right? And I think that when you look at China and when you look at whether or not you should work with China or Pakistan, I think the big thing you should be looking at is quality, right? This quality of cereal, Golden Grams, isn't going to be the same level of quality as Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? The other thing as well is how often you see Cinnamon Toast Crunch across multiple places. So if you look at some of the biggest companies in the world, the ones that are in the malls, the ones that are in, the retail stores and things like that, majority of them are made in China. So one of the things that you got to look at as well is that, yeah, it's going to be more expensive, but what you're paying for is quality. And that's one of the big reasons that, we've really transitioned from being with Pakistan because it's cheaper and, it's a little bit easier to China. When you say?
Yeah, 100%, most definitely.
The other thing that I would say about Pakistan is the communication. Can you tell them a little bit about your experience with communication, doing pre-orders, things like that with Pakistan?
Yeah, so especially the pre-order part, I think that's huge. If I was to work with a Pakistan manufacturer now, knowing, and going through the things that I've went through, I would never do a pre-order, in that situation. And the reason being is because at the end of the day, whether it's the manufacturer's fault or your fault, it falls back on you as a business owner.
100%.
So if I go with this Pakistan manufacturer, and a lot of times they, not all of them, but in some situations, they're not honest about turnaround times. They may tell you something is only going to take a week, and now it's 2 weeks later. And so what happens is we tell our customers these things, and they hold us accountable as the brand owner, not the manufacturer. We can't put the blame on them. It always comes back on us. And so if I'm telling my customers that, hey, this is going to take only about 1 to 2 weeks to be completed and then shipped to you, and then, my manufacturer is now telling me, oh, we're having this delay and that delay, and we're going to have to push it back, then these are all things that now are big, downfalls of me as a business owner, and it reflects back on me and how I'm doing business. And so I think that that's also a big reason of why I transitioned over to China, because it's a lot more transparent when it comes to communication.
Oh, you hit it right on the head. I think the thing is that what I've realized about Pakistan is that they lie a lot, and I think that the communication isn't as professional.
It's not.
And I think because you're getting such a more common-like tone when it comes to speaking to them, because they try to talk like they're us. But when you're going through China, they talk like them because they bring a certain level of professionalism. And even when it comes to directions, which is one of the biggest things that I've learned about Pakistan and China knows how to follow directions. So you might ask for a certain type of distress or a certain type of dye on your clothes, and they get it right. It might take 1 or 2 tries or 3 tries, but they're a lot closer when it comes to what your ideal, outcome, what it looks like. It's going to be a lot more ideal and a little bit closer to what you want it to look like, as opposed to Pakistan, where you might tell them something and it comes completely different. I remember I ordered a sample, and the sample came in, and the sample was supposed to be a zip up sample. You remember the one I showed you? It didn't even, like, I'm telling you, they didn't even care to put a zipper. It was just a regular pullover hoodie. And when I asked them, I said, yo, why did y'all send the sample like this? This isn't what I asked for. Oh, we'll do it right for you on the bulk order. We just da da da. No, that's not what I asked for, nor is that what I paid for. So those are going to be things you learn as well, along with, like, again, the communication isn't going to be the same. So even if you look at Pakistan manufacturers, a lot of clothing brand owners are probably noticing this right now, where you got Pakistan manufacturers spamming your page, spamming your comment section. And it's like, you know, you don't see China manufacturers doing that. And a lot of what you got to look at as well is China is more advanced of a country.
I was gonna say that, bro. Technology,
Yes.
the tech is you can't even compare.
You can't. They're better than, like, if you look at China, their productivity and technology is farther ahead than the US.
Than ours.
So that's why I keep telling people, like, why would you go with a country that doesn't have the technology and obviously has proven over time to not really be of quality? Why would you go with them over a country that has more technology, more advanced, and are pushing out more things at a higher level and a higher quality than most other people could in most other countries?
100%.
And that's one of the biggest points out there. They're able to fulfill 300, 400, 500 bulk orders. And the other thing that we haven't even said is Pakistan bulk orders compared to a sample.
Yeah, right. The consistency of work, and I think that goes back to, like you said, the technology. Because it's like in China, if my manufacturer sends me a video of the work that they're doing, it's all systemized. You know,
Facts,
like,
facts.
I'm not trusting a human to do it, like, and so you don't have the human error playing in. It's like this is being done by a machine.
Exactly.
Perfect, right? It's like the more that they have to go in with their hands and do things themselves, you know, I don't want that, because
More
you're
opportunity.
bound to, you know what I'm saying, you're bound to mess something up.
Exactly,
Right?
more
It's the same
opportunity
thing
for
with me.
error.
If I'm touching everything every single time I'm doing something, I'm bound to mess something up. It's just human error. And so, you know, I think that's a big difference. The technology is huge.
Like you said, I think it's just more opportunity for human error when you're doing everything yourself. And if you look at, you know, because one of the big tips that we give y'all is to FaceTime the manufacturers, see their factory, talk to them in person, build a relationship with them over FaceTime or over, you know, WhatsApp call or over an Alibaba call. One of the things that you'll see is when you're FaceTiming these manufacturers in China, they have a full-blown automated system. They may not have as many workers, right? Because they're not all doing the nitty-gritty work of cutting all the stuff. And you got to be realistic. If you order 200 pieces from Pakistan and they're all being handmade, what is the chances of all of them being the right cut or the right size or the right stitching or the right coloring? Things are just going to be off. And that's one of the things that I learned when it comes to, like, using Pakistan, which is a big reason, like you said, we transition over to China. The quality difference, man. You want your stuff to be similar to the bigger brands like the Gucci's and the Louis Vuittons, especially when you start going up in GSM or you start going up in different fabrics and materials. You want to be able to talk to a manufacturer who knows what they're talking about and has easily been able to access that type of fabric and material in the past for other people as well.
100%. I think another thing that's important too is, like, for scaling purposes.
Absolutely.
Because I think that people don't pay attention enough to the overall goal. Like, the goal is to be able to scale. And so is it feasible for me to build this relationship with this manufacturer that I know sometimes is messing up, and I know that it's taking longer than they're telling me, and I know that they're telling me these lies and they're feeding me this? Am I gonna take that now, and then when I am doing $20,000, $30,000 drop, right, $40,000 drops, you know, it's the problems are only going to advance and just get bigger. If they're happening on a smaller scale, then the proof is in the pudding. You're going to continue to deal with those problems, but now it's going to be with 30,000 that you just had to wire over to this manufacturer.
Facts.
And that goes for China or Pakistan. You shouldn't settle for less for neither one. And so I think that we need to be more, you know, we have to be more attentive and pay more attention when it comes to figuring out, okay, who are we going to be doing business with, and are they going to be able to help me grow long term? Because if it's not that, then you're wasting time building that relationship. You could have went and found a better manufacturer that was going to do exactly what you needed them to do. So now we can build a relationship over a 10-year period.
Exactly.
Plus, you know, and it's a lot more fruitful in the future. So I think that that's big too.
Bro, it's crazy you said that because, like we said, bro, and like, just Pakistan, and this isn't a diss video to the whole entire country of Pakistan or anything like that. We're telling our experiences. Obviously, there's really good ones out in Pakistan. One of the key things that you do want to make sure that you have for whether you go with Pakistan, China, Venezuela, it doesn't matter who you go with, right? Always making sure you have your own size charts, you have detailed mock-ups, making sure that you have those things aligned so that way all the other error would be on them. And that's a very important part, is that a lot of y'all might be using manufacturers and the quality might even be good, but you just don't know what you're doing.
Right.
You don't know the right GSM, you don't know the right cuts, you don't know the stitching, you don't know the style or printing technique that you actually want. So you're telling them something you want, but you don't even know what you want because you're just saying stuff. So doing the research on the different styles like DTG and like all like, embroidery, and then you got, different distress styles, and then you got different, just washes and things like that. It's so many different things you got to learn. Don't get overwhelmed about it. Be excited about it, because there's certain styles that come in and come out, like, the applique that was really still in right now, right? You might have puff print was in big, like maybe like 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Mohair, exactly, same thing. So it's like you got to educate yourself as well, so you know what you're talking about when you are talking to the manufacturers.
100%. That's important.
One of the things I noticed too is like Pakistan manufacturers. I've never seen a Pakistan manufacturer refund a person.
Nah, that's not happening.
This is not happening.
Why would they?
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. I've gotten refunds with China manufacturers. I've never had a situation with a Chinese manufacturer where something wasn't right and they didn't fix it.
Absolutely, I agree.
It's never happened. Like, it's a lot more clean business. It's better for scaling purposes. And like I said, it's a direct reflection of you as a brand owner. And so, you have to think like my main priority is my customer, period, point blank.
Absolutely.
And so if it's gonna affect my customers, then I'm not willing to do it. I'm not willing to sacrifice the relationship with my customers because it's cheaper, or because it may be faster. Because now that's questionable too,
Exactly.
It'd be taking the same time, right? And so, you gotta know what you're sacrificing when you're making that decision.
The good thing about working with China manufacturers, especially if you're working with them on Alibaba, they have trade assurance. So what trade assurance is it basically allows you guys to, if at any time there was something that went left, or the quality of stuff is wrong or anything like that, you can file a dispute through Alibaba and then they'll review it. You see, when you're working with Pakistan, you're paying them through MoneyGram, Western Union, Direct Wire. There's nothing you can do to get that money back. And you're sitting here arguing with them. You're still waiting on your order. 3 months go by, 4 months go by. You're still waiting for stuff. Your customers are angry with you, or, your pre-order comes a month late. Like, these are things that'll make you go out of business. So now we just got to start thinking about our brands and our companies as real companies. And if you look at some of the bigger companies, that's what they're doing. They're buying the quality stuff. They're going to pay more. They're going to negotiate it because they're buying so much volume, but they're going to make sure that they're getting the quality, because quality is what sells. And when you have quality, you can mark the price up.
Right, 100%.
Another thing is packaging, right? Like if you look at the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? Very colorful, not as flimsy as a box, right? It's a lot more going on. If you guys look at the Golden Grams, it's not as much. I wouldn't really go down the aisle and pick it, straight off of, the strength of just looking at boxes of cereals and things like that. So let's talk a little bit about that as well, like the packaging. Sometimes you might order something from Pakistan and your clothes don't even have bags. So can you talk a little bit about that? Facts, ripped up.
Yeah, and it's just quality. It's like you get what you pay for in China.
Exactly.
And so people say, oh, it's more expensive. Oh, it takes longer. Yeah, but you get a way better product. Again, it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice to gain something? It's like, at the end of the day, nothing's gonna be perfect, right? And so it's like, you're gonna have to be willing to take this with this as well, right? And with China, it's like, I'm willing to take a little bit longer of a wait time. I'm willing to pay a premium price for a premium product. If you want to go and be cheaper, and you're trying to just maximize on profit, and that's your goal, by all means, go with Pakistan. But you know that, again, you have to accept the terms of service. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to get, yes, more profit and all of those great things, but my customer is going to suffer on the back end with quality and, potential communication issues. And I might not have the same trust, right? Or they might not have the same trust for me because I'm dealing with this manufacturer that, is kind of not as as focused and directional as they need to be when it comes to communication. So, yeah.
Facts. And it's crazy you said that because a lot of times, even, because we got PO boxes and things like that and people send us merch. And I think one of the things that I realize is that I am more willing to keep a piece from a PO box if it's really high quality.
100%.
Even if the design isn't amazing, like, yeah, you want to make sure that your designs are on point and things like that. But if it's a really high quality piece, I'll find some use of it. Yeah. If the piece is just ass and the design is just crazy fire, I'm more than likely not going to wear it because I know that I will probably wear it one time. Right. And you just got to keep in mind that you're dealing with customers and psychology. And the thing is if somebody buys something from you and the shit isn't good, they're not going to buy again. And your whole focus is how do I keep these people coming back to buy again and again and again. So that way, when you're doing your drops, there's more of a ideal crowd that you're reaching out to because this is your text list or your email list, and you know how much you're gonna make off of your drop based off of past experiences. Right. But you only get to that point when you're giving them quality stuff to look forward to.
Yeah. And it's the small. I think it's the small details. Like,
facts.
It's like one thing that I hate, right? And this is like you're a consumer, right? And so you have to look at the things that you might not like in clothing. It's like if I put a hoodie on and I got a clean white tee on under my hoodie, and the hoodie's red, and I take the hoodie off and I got all this lint all over my. It's just like it's certain things that it's non-negotiables for me. You feel me? And that I know that are going to trickle down to my customer, and they're going to suffer from the same things. If I have a pleat, if I do a pleat on a hoodie, and on the inside of the hoodie, it's still like the paper, like the paper from the pleat being done or the embroidery being done. Like, I want my manufacturer to take those things out. I don't want that inside of my clothing. And so I know if I don't want that, if I go give that to my customer, again, you're not going into Louis Vuitton and they got stuff that shit, like from manufacturing. You're not seeing none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. You're not going into Zara and seeing those things. And so these are corporate businesses. My goal is to mimic those. How can I mimic the corporate businesses so I can fall in line with what they're doing and see, benefits that they're seeing? And so, like I said, Pakistan is it's a great place to maybe start, but you have to know when you outgrow it and when it's time to elevate. And I think that's big. So
I think longevity wise, the big key thing here is that you guys got a lot of pros and a lot of cons, right? Yeah. Obviously, if you are just getting started and you really, don't really have the funds and things like that, I don't recommend getting bad quality stuff. I recommend stacking your bread up before you take this thing serious, because the last thing you want is to start putting some money into something and you may not have a lot, and then you buy shitty quality stuff and now you really can't move it. Or when you do move it, the people that bought it the first time aren't willing to buy the second batch. Even if you got it from China, even if it is better quality, they're just not willing to because they got a bad experience. Mm-hmm. So I think that, we gave you guys two different, examples of why you should use whichever one you feel like is best for you, with the golden grams and the cinnamon toast crunch type of, feel to it. And if you like golden grams, you might as well click off of this video because you're tweaking.
Golden grams might slap, man. I don't know.
Nah, hell nah, y'all are tweaking. If you say golden grams over cinnamon toast crunch, you're probably like psycho or something. I don't know. But anything else you could think of as far as like between China and Pakistan that people would need to know, or to keep in mind before choosing which one they're gonna work with for their brand?
I think the point that you made, as far as because that first impression that we give our customers with our clothing is like a handshake. And so exactly. Imagine you shaking somebody, it's your first time ever meeting me, and you shake their hand and they just like, it's a weak handshake. Yeah. They ain't looking you in your eyes. It's not meaningful. That interaction you have with that person, you're gonna remember forever. Yeah. You're always gonna remember it. It's the same thing with your clothing. If I give you a hoodie or a t-shirt or whatever, and the quality is terrible, my print is messing up after you washed it one or two times, you're never gonna want to shop with me again. You're always gonna remember that one time where you ordered from me and the product was terrible, like he just said. And so I think that's huge. Don't go and say, oh, I'm gonna just go print my own shirts, but you ain't never printed a shirt and you doing it wrong. Don't go and work with a Pakistan manufacturer that's lying to you and that's giving you poor quality clothing. Because yes, we have to start somewhere. 100% I agree, but that don't mean start terrible, right? Because then you're gonna be working back. You hustling backwards now. Wait. Do your homework. Wait till you can do it the right way, and then go into the journey. Don't rush it. It's a difference between starting somewhere and then rushing the process. So don't rush it. I think one more thing is that we have to be sure that regardless of where we go, whether it's Pakistan or China, that we understand communication is key. And so these people are speaking different language. Their main language is a different language, right? If I go work with my Chinese manufacturer and they're speaking Mandarin, I have to know how I can communicate to them through fashion, not through English, right? Because that's not their main language. So if I'm trying to explain certain things to them and I don't know the terminology I'm using, again, you have to do your homework. I don't know how to send a tech pack, or I don't know what a tech pack is. How can we be doing business with these manufacturers and we don't even know what a tech pack is or a mock-up is? And so that's also on us as well. We can't always blame the manufacturer. If we're not giving them the proper resources for us to be successful, then they just gonna give us whatever.
Exactly. They're not gonna care.
Yeah, it's like if we don't care, why would they care for us? So it start with us too with that. Y'all gotta communicate with them through fashion, visual interpretations of what you're trying to get done. So you know that, again, if they're not doing it right, then it's on them now. It's not on us. So.
And one big thing to kind of piggyback off what you said is, like, if you don't, like, say like there is, let's say you don't know everything about every style and technique. Let's say you didn't know that the hoodie he has on is a pleat, but you seen it on something else. Like you might have went on Instagram or you went on TikTok and you seen it, and now, like you said, references. Now I can say, hey, I want this type of style, and then they're gonna be like, oh, you mean a pleat? Oh, now you just learned it. So don't be scared to learn from the manufacturer. Like they're like, a lot of them will send you textile books and color books and different fabric books and things like that. Like I've had some of them send it to me.
I love China, bro.
Bro, they look out for you. They educate you.
Do that, bro.
Exactly.
And that's something a Pakistan manufacturer is not really able to do. Like China's knowledge in fashion in general, because fashion is very prevalent there.
Absolutely.
So they know about these things. They be teaching me about certain washing patterns. I've learned a lot from my manufacturer. Like I trust him so much because he be teaching me stuff, you know. And so that's another thing. Like,
bro, you can really learn a lot from the manufacturers that you're working with. And if you being too shy with going out and getting the information, I wouldn't say always learn from mistakes in using your money. I would say just get on the call with them and just show them the videos and the pictures and just whatever style that you want. Like say like you got a design and you don't know that that's a pleat. Like I said, screenshot the pleat that you've seen on Instagram or that style because you don't know the name of it and be like, hey, I want to do something like this with this type of design. Is that something that we can do? Yeah. Well, what is this thing called? Oh, this is a pleat. Okay, awesome. And then showing them washes. Hey, what type of wash is this? And they demonstrating and showing you different washes that they've done for other people. Another big thing as well is when you're working with any side manufacturers, asking for their previous work, because if there's certain styles that are in, right, a lot of y'all may be asking me like, hey, how did you find all these manufacturers? You know, I might find a manufacturer for like a huge brand owner or things like that. I find them because I FaceTime them, ask them to show me, hey, what products have you made prior in the past? And then I start seeing all these other brand owners stuff. So now I know, oh, they work with this manufacturer. Bet. And then on top of that, they showing me different styles, different cuts, different things like that I may not have thought of. So you can get a lot of inspiration from other brands from the direct source instead of only getting it from social media.
100%. I'm gonna give y'all one thing too. All right, I'm gonna give y'all something. The way I pretty much find like my size charts, even I'm using my manufacturer. A lot of y'all are like, where do I find size charts? Y'all looking at other brands' pages and their websites, and who do y'all think are creating these, right? Like, who do y'all think is making the clothing? The manufacturer. Who has the size charts? The manufacturer. My manufacturer, I reached out to my manufacturer one time, and I said, I sent them a picture of somebody wearing a pair of sweatpants, and I said, do you think you could find a size chart similar to this? They said that I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to send it to our size chart engineer. They had an engineer that created and generated size charts. And so they sent it over to them. I got the size chart. We had to make minor adjustments after the sample came in. Perfect piece now. Right? They created a size chart from a picture. Again, these are things that you're just not getting anywhere else. They're so advanced.
Bro.
Your size charts. Y'all need size charts. These manufacturers on Alibaba, reach out to them. I get my size charts from Alibaba. That's where I get them from.
And it's crazy you said that because I've had some of the manufacturers on Alibaba send me actual tech packs of my stuff.
Yes.
Like I might just send them a design and then they'll send me back the tech pack. So that's where again quality is going to matter, but that's why you're paying more. Not only you're going to be learning, but you can get better quality. You're going to start seeing different styles of stuff. They're going to start suggesting certain things, which is a huge part too. Getting suggestions from manufacturers. Come on now, like, and then just advancement, and then instructions and communication, like you said. These are all important things. Like if you're ordering a bulk load of inventory and you tell them you want the bags to have your logo and stuff on it. Like I had this issue. I told them I want all my varsities. I told a Pakistan manufacturer, I want all of my varsity jackets to have this type of bag with my logo. This is the logo, blah 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 blah. Okay, perfect, brother, we got you. Soon as all the stuff came in, some of the stuff not even in bags, none of them had the bags that I wanted. And then when I asked them, yo, why didn't y'all make the bags? Oh, we forgot. I can't allow something like that. You gotta know what you're willing, your boundaries. You gotta know what you're willing to cut off. If a manufacturer is not willing to listen to your instructions and you're giving them the size charts, you're giving them the tech packs, you're telling them what you want the bags to look like, all these things, do not be afraid to cut them off and find another one. You should always have at least 2 to 3 backup manufacturers, because if something goes wrong, you're fucked. Right. If you only have one, you're done. So don't operate your business like a side hustle. Operate your business like a company, because these companies have multiple manufacturers for things that might go wrong, and just educate yourself on that whole entire process of finding them. So with all of that being said, let us know down below. Which one do you prefer, China or Pakistan? What has your experience been like? Tell us a story that you may have had dealing with a recent manufacturer, whether it was good or bad. We're definitely interested, and we will be responding to all the comments that are down below. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss another video. And make sure you guys go follow my boy, go subscribe to his channel as well. Where can they find you at?
LST Court, all platforms, LST Court.
So look, I'll have everything tagged down below in the description. And if you guys need a free course and you guys are looking to get into the clothing brand space, you guys can tap in down below. All the links are going to be down below in the description, so you guys can get access to all the resources, materials, information that you need to be successful in this space. So it's your boy, the real Tez.
LST Court.
And we out of here. Let's get it.
Yeah.